What's going on, amazing people? Welcome to your spiritual Sunday here at the Religion of Isness, and I am your speaker today, prophet, whatever. What do they call me? Guru. Anyway, that is what it is. Today we're gonna have a little chat. Now, we're doing a transition at the moment, as I briefly mentioned. I don't really, as I said, often speak about myself as only, well, there's many tactics to this. One, that I don't need to talk about myself. I have no interest in it. I have no interest in like social media or talking to people in general. It's just what I'm meant to do. So I have to do social media. I have to do talking. I'm more of a doing person. And when you do it, people see it and they're inspired by it. And then you have the wisdom, not information, the wisdom to know how to do it. And you can help people. That's simply it. That's how it works. What? And I'll offset this a little bit, and by saying that, talking to so many clients I've had professionally and just people I've helped or saved along over the last 20 years or so, they all have the same comment, like they believe in me. They see the evidence of and it's not even the victories, by the way. For all the people that are trying to, I've got to be this and see this so that I am in this, whatever. The greatest way that I've helped people is showing the brutal side of reality, the brutal side of my life, when everything burns down around you, when you're crushed, when you're broken, when everything's taken from you, when you've got all the odds are stacked against you and you still rise. You still don't drop on your knees. You still like die on your feet, you know what I mean? And you not insane. You find different ways, you find elements, you research, you pay attention, you be a scientist, and you say this. So if everything's falling apart and it's failing and it's burning to the ground and I'm suffering and I'm in pain and it's this and this, okay, let's deduce what elements create that suffering and that pain and what could happen. Why would this be a negative self-belief? Why would this be, even if it's somebody else done something to you or didn't do something to you, for you, that you hoped, expectation, you know what I mean? You can deduce and you can work your way back down to the core foundation, and that is honestly 99.99% of the time you believe that you're not good enough. That's it. And then you deduce that back further, and why do you not think you're good enough? No one has a really good answer. You have a bunch of like preliminary excuses that I will say evil ego has whispered into your head to make you. So remember how I use this terminology that you'll either fucking find excuses to stay down or create reasons to rise. Stay down and rise and evolve. Well, the excuses means that you're disconnected from source, because there is no excuse when you're there. And that means you're in darkness, enables evil to whisper into your ear to create all this shit, and you'll see that there is nothing ever that's positive. There's nothing ever that's good. There's nothing ever that's valuable. There's nothing ever that's healthy. There's nothing ever that is serving to your highest divine self. And that's how you know that it's evil talking. You know what I mean? It's not divinity, it's not God, it's not higher self, it's not consciousness. You know what I mean? It's not that. It always tries to pull you down instead of helping you rise. Now, I need to use my examples of life because, to be honest, I've had a hell of a life, really. And I use that to my advantage, and I use it as I'm grateful for it. Yeah. For the shit that goes down. The horrible things are going to go right. I'm grateful because I learned skills. I learned skills that I found out nobody has. And they are forged in the fires of hell. As poetic as that sounds, but it is literal. So when you're there, you have wisdom. And like I said, my clients and people I've saved or helped over the years, they all say the same repetitive thing. One thing. I believe in myself because I believe in you, because you believe in yourself, and that you believe in that I can too. So that gives me the belief, self-belief that I didn't have, to believe in myself, to transcend this limiting self-belief shit and bad habits and behaviors and slavery to evil. Do you understand? And they have that because of my story. And I struggle, it's not a struggle, but I am hesitant to always speak from my perspective, not from God's perspective, with his words. But I'm feeling that I must also, like in the Bible, it's got nothing to do with me. In this 600,000 word Bible that I'm creating, or it's, and we're halfway. So 30, we're at 16 chapters and we're at 600,000 and it's 33, plus the actual program of what to do, when to do, and how to do. So I think it might exceed 1 million. But even let's use that. As again, I don't like to talk about myself, but I feel it is necessary and I'm having that intuition too. Let's look at that, okay? I'm writing a book. I've written 3. And they're all there. And they're me learning, process, listening. And they're all self-help books. And they're just me practicing for this bloody epic one. And you might seem, oh, that's amazing. Like, wow. I started to write a book before I could read. I was illiterate. And in that story, I couldn't read, I couldn't write. He said I'm dyslexic, ADHD, all this shit. And I just quit on myself because everyone was telling me to quit. Everyone was telling me all these things. Everyone was putting the excuses in my head. No help from my friends or family. Pretty much the opposite. And I'll get into that at a later date. And I'm saving all the horrific shit in my mother, stepfather stuff until they have passed. Because there's no... I've forgiven everything. But it's no advantage at this time. I can talk about my real father and the cults and shit, the satanic cult shit and the terrible life and stuff, but I'm just preserving that because I don't know if they're ready, to be honest, and I don't know if it's me preserving them from embarrassment or whatever, but anyway, let's just say some shit went down. And lost my point in that one, but using my experience to help others and being wisdom over knowledge. And that's why I said my clients always say that, like, I come to you and I'm so grateful for you that you can help us, because therapists don't work, psychologists don't work, medication doesn't work, and all this shit that they're doing. And they're like, and it goes back to the one analogy that people don't respect anybody because they don't respect themselves. They have no self-respect, so they can't respect anyone else. It's just ego. You can give me something I can't have, so I'm just using you. So it's not respect. But anyway, having the roadmap out of hell and out of turmoil and suffering, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, sexual, like whatever it is, having that experience and then mastering it yourself gives you a value that is beyond reproach. It's ridiculous. Like, and it makes it hard that you're so valuable and you have to set across time to also help people that can't afford it. Hence why I created this religion, also to leave a legacy behind of actually doing it, actually being a useful human being, actually how to be a successful human being in the reality of isness, of God, of the universe, of cosmos, of advanced life, not a dumb primitive monkey species called humans that only value money because they are worthless, and they are going to supplement their worthlessness and try to compensate, saying, hey, look, I got this, so that I must be this, so that can you tell me that I can feel good about myself now? But anyway, the reason I use myself in this analogy is of, hey, I couldn't read or write, but one, believed in myself or had the balls to push through that barrier to do something, even though that the odds looked insurmountable. Really. Like, a person that can't read or write writes a book. And now writing a Bible of 600,000 words. 600,000 words. A person that can't spell went from that to doing this. Do you know what I mean? And it was crazy. Like, I went to college, not my trade. Like, my first trade was a bucket welder. Trade in the mines and stuff like that, and doing heavy metal welding and operating machinery and scaffolding and all that stuff, and security and WHS officer and like all this sort of stuff. And I did all of that with being illiterate. But my transformation out of that to do things I love was doing my double degree in business and masters in fitness. Still couldn't read. But I found out that self-belief, perseverance, you're a superhero. You're invincible. And just showing up and just breaking down that wall, finding ways. Like, for example, how did I pass my master's? Well, final test, 150 questions. You have 3 hours to do it. 100% pass mark. You can't get one wrong. One wrong. I was the second person to finish. Now, I didn't do it the first time. No. I got through the college. I got through the studies. And I sat out my test. Well, I sat in, but I didn't do the test. I was just saw the test. Do you know what I mean? Got myself in that environment. Felt what it's going to feel like. Look at the situation. Basically, like, if you're a recon sniper, like, you're going to know what it's like there. You're going to familiarize yourself. You're going to equate yourself to how it feels, and then use that information to create a battle plan and a plan of attack of how to overcome the enemy. In this terminology, it's not an enemy, it's myself. And using the fact that I've gotten this far, using momentum of my mind to build up a momentum in my brain, going, hey, I've gotten this far, I can do this, self-belief, build myself up to get myself away from self-sabotaging into even the mindset that it is even feasible or possible. So what I did was, it took me 6 months until the next reset. I think it was 6 months. I don't know. Long time ago. It took me whatever period of time to reset the test. And in that time frame, I worked very, very smart. I learned what the questions were. And very bizarrely, they didn't change the questions. So there is using your wits about you to realize what the questions were, do your best, and then what I did was I studied my ass off. I focused my entire life. I finished college, I didn't get my degree, but I finished the course, so the actual content is done. So now I have to do the next big thing, which is the final exam, to get my piece of papers. Yeah. I hired a teacher, professor there. I hired a professor that liked me, because some didn't. And I hired the professor to help me learn these. He didn't tell me anything about the test or cheat or anything like that. No. I work smart, not hard. Basically, don't be an idiot. So by knowing what the test subjects were, so like there was sections, okay? There was sections in the final exam of the masters, and they are different topics. And then there's, anatomy. Then you've got like bone density, and then you got like movement, how like flexion, plantar flexion, all this sort of shit. Then you've got like I said, every muscle, and then you've got movement, and then you've got time and attention. Then you've got to know how like things work, how things don't work, and like just different subcategories, okay? And like if you look at a book, and then it's got like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 2, blah blah, just like that. So then what I did was I became proficient at those subcategories. So you're looking at these mother of textbooks, like fucking textbooks for days, just textbooks for fucking days, right? So instead of wasting my energy, and this pisses me off with schools and colleges and universities, like you're wasting so much of that person's energy and life and time to study everything when they don't, but only a certain subcategory of information is going to make them pass. Why don't they become very proficient and efficient at that information? So that's what I did. I became very proficient and efficient at the information of the subcategories, each thing, and bang. Next time around, walked in, second person, finished, boom, done. Next. So what went from there, there's a lot of things, you know what I mean? Like I went off and read a book, personal trainer, life coach, evolving in my spirituality, and I went on a spiritual pilgrimage that took me all over the planet. And like these things are just seeing what I need to overcome and accomplish to set myself free from the slavery, so that I can challenge myself on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And people think it's insane how much shit I've done in my life, how many careers I've had, how many diplomas I have. Like last one I just did was the Science of Happiness through Berkeley University. Like, why? Because that's information that I can utilize for myself, scientifically go through the practices and see how it works, and then through my clientele I can level up my ability to be good at it and help people. It's not just, oh yeah, I'm spiritual. Shut the fuck up, I don't want to hear that shit. A lot of people don't want to hear that shit. A lot of people don't want to hear, just think positively. Get fucked, you stupid fucking cunt. It doesn't work that way. Most people don't have the willpower, which is a certain part of your brain that creates willpower. Oh yeah, by the way, I did neuron reprogramming in my brain and got the whole scan and went through the whole program of like 2 weeks of 8 hours a day in the chair with your brain, blah, blah, blah. So I know this shit, that it's not that. You are literally every day dedicating your life to self-destruction and being useless and incapable and completely primatizing your brain to be useless. Your attention span is getting diminished each time you watch TV, each time you play on your phone, each time you play video games, each time you gossip. All this shit. And then you've got people that sit there on their fucking phones playing a game or social media or just dumb phones, destroying themselves while they got TV on. No. You're splitting your focus and actually diverting your brain to be even more problems. And it's like giving yourself mental illness. Literally, you're giving yourself, you're breaking your ability. It's like you're creating split personality per se, like bipolar or schizophrenia. Like you're creating a division that you think that this is normal, but you're actually inside you. The cause and the effects of these causes is actually way worse than you could ever fathom. And having this skill set, being a scientist and doing these studies and doing this research and doing these experiments on myself and my clients and on people like that, you don't want to, and that's what I mean by clients don't want to hear your fancy fairy bullshit. They want to see it being done. They want the evidence. They want to know how to do it. Not, just think positive. I can look at that on 1,000 different levels. You can look at that in the biology thing. You can look at that in the chemistry of the brain and how you've just diminished your ability to be positive, to be happy. You could look at it from a spiritual enlightenment consciousness point of view, that you have no ability to hold yourself in consciousness at a higher vibrational level. So you're vibrating at a lower level. So thus you are in darkness and creating only thus more darkness of what you are of yourself. You know what I mean? Or you could say it in a good and evil. Oh, you're a slave to evil, and evil is, or ego, or whatever the fuck you want to talk it. It's not just think positive. There's a chemical imbalance inside of yourself. There's a food that you eat or don't eat that chemically fucks yourself up or improves you. There's the exercise and the sunlight and the water and all these different things. There's sleep, there's meditation, there's being surrounded by negative people, there's mental and physical behaviors that you do or don't do that drastically affect you. There's past traumas that you need to deal with. There's fears that you need to transcend. There's regret that you need to heal. There's so much thinking positive, but having no tactical, professional, efficient fucking way. Just like a recipe, that's how I do it. Just like a bloody recipe. You do this, you use this much for this long, this time, done. Ta-da! Manifest fucking happiness. Because it's a foundation of understandings, not just a theory of la-di-da bullshit. You have to understand how the chemicals and how biology and how chemistry inside of you and the things that you've done in your life or has been done to you in your life or haven't been done or you haven't done actually impacts your ability to be positive or happy. So let's just like look at this pandemic fucking retardness. Social connection is one of the core pillars of happiness. This world bullshit power grab crap of the pandemic has created social what? Distancing. The world is starting to see the irreversible damage that these governments have actually done to people. How children are suicidal. How many kids so young killed themselves. How many just kids, fucking kids. You sacrificed fucking kids for your agenda. Instead of using science, instead of using natural immunities. Anyway, this is probably going to get taken down. My point being this. Using what's real. Not your delusional state of grandeur inside your head that you use so that other people like you. And this is what's really muddying the water of all of this. Most people in history have never been dumb enough to try and be a guru. And all people in history never wanted to be. It wasn't a thing that they wanted. It's a destiny. It's a thing that they had no fucking choice. Like me, I had no choice. It's either do this or die, basically. And it was not my choice to do this. It wasn't anything like that. Just people just kept showing up. People go, wow, I feel so much better around you. How did you do this? Hear my story. How did you overcome that? How are you happy? How are you positive? How do you do this stuff? Do you know what I mean? It wasn't my choice. I just became better equipped at it. I noticed that this was my destiny. God, universe, cosmos, higher self, Vance life was sending people my way, and I just fixed myself. That's all I cared about. Everyone else chased money. I already had all that. I already done all that. And now I was like, well, that didn't fix shit. Everyone's chasing ass, and I'm like, I've had my plentiful, and it didn't fix shit. Do you understand? Nothing fixed it unless I fixed it. An external remediation for an internal wound, it doesn't work. So I focused on that. That was my focus. That was my spiritual enlightenment, pilgrimage of getting my shit together, knowing what I'm capable of, knowing my capacity, progressive overload in each area, and then loving myself through the process, not to break myself or live up to other people's delusional expectations. And the very funny thing is a lot of people want to tell you what to do, what not to do, yet they've never done it themselves. That's what I mean by my clients mentioning like therapists and shit. They haven't been through the pain. They don't know the suffering. They don't know the crime. They don't know the atrocity that was done to them. They can only give them a book that they were taught, not their fucking life experience of overcoming it themselves out of pure, using their higher self and consciousness to heal. Using God's whispering ears to tell you the way. So, not a jab at these people. They do great work. But, wisdom and knowledge. So I just want to talk about a few little things here and there and give you a bit of a background on why sometimes I don't speak about myself, or why, if I am, because this isn't a personal vlog about my opinions or thoughts or life experience. This is a religion based upon God, based upon consciousness of evolution of humanity. Not fancy fucking words. It's about doing it. The covenant. And it's very easy to get suspended from the covenant. You know why? Because there is no toleration to idiocy. Evil behavior is not tolerated, and you must earn your fucking forgiveness. And you might look at this being brutal. Wow. So let's explain this. If you go to church on a Sunday, but you're a cunt on a Monday, and you've applied no alteration, you've put no effort, you've done nothing, you just, oh yeah, it's your problem, I go here so I'm forgiven so I can keep doing my shit, and keep doing shit, and creating shit, and being a piece of shit. No, we have to raise the standards. You have to be self-guiding, self-discipline. And you actually got to break free of insanity, because this is why we're a little bit brutal, because one, we're not little bitches, and it's time to turn it up a notch. And when you come to the conclusion in the real world reality, when shit hits a fucking fan, niceties are gone. When you like talking to one person that's like level 1, okay, you should do this and not do that. Do this, yeah. But when the building is burning down and some hero's got to run in and save everyone's life, do you think that hero is a little weak bitch? No. There's hammers destroy things, and hammers build things, rebuild them. Certain tools are used for certain things to reach certain people in certain situations. So tell me, how are you going to talk to a biker if you're a spiritual fairy? Why the fuck would a burly biker want to listen to anything you have to say? What about a soldier? What about a serial killer? Murderer? A gangster? Yeah. So having the ability to have these conversations with other hammers and teaching them to stop breaking shit and rebuild themselves so that they are valuable. They love themselves so that they keep building more love for others. Do you understand? So I guess it's to know yourself very well so that you know how to utilize your skill sets and your life experiences to do the best that you can for yourself. And when you're in this career of helping people, how to help others more efficiently. And that's what I mean. Having this background of life coaching, counseling, and doing all these studies and furthering my research and development into, like I said, I just did the science of happiness, or understanding how shit works is very, very important, enabling yourself to help others efficiently. Because sometimes it takes 1 second. You've only got 1 second to influence people. You have one chance to inspire them, to give them a reason why. And in the end, the reason why is because they're good enough. Because don't listen to that bullshit in your head. Don't listen to someone else's evil or your own. Listen to the love, be the most powerful thing, because only weak people are evil. Only weak people use people, abuse people, rape people, kill people, steal, lie, cheat. That's weak people. Literally, it's cheating. Depressed, worthless individuals, people with low self-esteem, cheat. Like science, people, science. So, in this world, the delusion of trying to be better or seem better so that you can perceive yourself as spiritual or a guru so you can have attention. It's the same as anything that that evil weaves its way in, smiles at you. It's like social media. Do you know the saying that whatever's free means that you're the product? If it's free, you're the product. They're selling you. It's the same thing with really, really nice people. Evangelists aren't evangelists because of what they have. They're evangelists because they feel better. Dopamine release inside themselves, evangelizing the world and making it an image of themselves. They're not letting the other person evolve into their image. They're trying to make carbon copies, and they feel good about themselves, self-validation, by converting another. Now, my evangelism is, I don't give a shit. You do, you don't. Gets one view, helps one person, helps no one. I don't care, I've done my job. And that's what I mean by doing your fucking job when it needs to be done until it's done. It doesn't matter what's happening in this parallel universe at this time. You look at the Celestine prophecies or the Dead Scroll, or you look at markings on caves about giants and fucking UFO events life, or even mermaids and all this shit. You look at all of this history, you might not understand that what you're doing or meant to do today isn't for today. Could be for tomorrow. There being an artist myself, I remember my professor went to art school, another accomplishment. She said to me, I'll never forget her. Awesome artist. She's a doctor of the art. Seriously. I didn't even know that was a thing. Anyway, first day, She comes to the front of the class with a bloody coffee and says, "Are you ready for the responsibility to tell all life forms at all time, for all generations and life to come, who you were as a person, what you were as a species, what you were as a culture, and what did you go through, strive through, suffer through?" It's like you have the responsibility to tell all life who you were as a people. Holy shit. So, looking at everything like that, it's not always a self-centered needing validation and gratification and reward to do something. Sometimes you might have to have a little fucking faith and just do what you need to do. Get it done and put it out in the world, because infiniteness of reality might be, even Einstein says, this multiple dimensions. Guys, come on. Listen to the smart people. Listen to the wise people. Listen to the sages. Listen to the prophets. Okay? It's very easy and it's not hard. You just are really dumb. Primitive. So why would you, and here's the point, is like, why would you listen to somebody that hasn't ever done it? It can't do it. Why? Why? That's stupid. Why would you listen to somebody that's a liar? Why would you listen to somebody that has no self-control or ability to be healthy in the mind, body, and soul dynamic? Why? They're a failure. They're worthless. They have no self-value and no value to self-invest, to be of value, even for them. So they have no value to give. You have to, it's like, oh, I love you. You don't love me. Do you love yourself? No. So then you don't love me. Because you have no love to give, because you don't love, you don't have the generation ability to love. Like if you plant corn, or if you plant lentils, apples, right? You must have in order to give. But if you need to get in order to have, in order to now give, you're not the source. You're not valuable. You're not useful. You're useless. You're worthless. If you're not the source creation of your self-love, self-happiness, inner peace, you know what I mean? If you're not the source of the most powerful thing in the world, it is so easy to hate. It is so easy to be bad. It's so weak, pathetic losers hurt people. only a piece of shit gets angry. Because it's hard. You need to be powerful, man. You need to be strong. You need to have a backbone. You need to be made of the right stuff, the valuable stuff, the power to love, to be good, to be kind, to be generous, to give, to share, to be grateful, even for the terribles. So the saying, a young boy met death. And he asked Death, "Death, what should I be when I grow up?" And Death said, "A good person, because there's not many of those." That's what value is. That's what success is. That's what happiness derives from. It isn't, you can't self-harm. You can't allow yourself and keep digging the hole deeper of mental illness to think that you're going to get your way out. You can't alter the way that others think or feel so that your opinion isn't challenged, and thus you now are triggered and feel validated to attack, like all piece of shit does. I'm validating myself and I'm being vindicated by abusing others. You're an idiot. No. You aren't to be altered, you are to alter. Being so powerful that you alter everything by never, ever harming another. Now, you inspire. You don't dictate. And when I say harming another, bullying somebody into submitting to your point of view so that your ego has now been validated, your junkie hit high, you feel good about yourself, doesn't change anything. You can say that. I've in my life agreed with people and gone and did whatever the fuck I wanted afterwards. You might feel all powerful, but no one gives a fuck. No one cares. And I want to bring this around a little bit to the tough love stuff. I'm going to call you a fucking idiot if you're a fucking idiot. Okay? We're all adults here. Even if you're a child, you need to elevate. And if you're triggered by that, you needed to be triggered by that. To wake the fuck up. Because pain only leaves once it's finished teaching you. Thanks, Bruce Lee. And my point is, you must not allow yourself to literally be the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's what I meant by going to church on a Sunday, being a cunt on a Monday. You're insane. You're fuckingly mentally insane. And that's why, yes, you can be a part of the communion, but you're not a part of the covenant. You must be consistently conscious and enlightened to be a part of a covenant. Why would I put a broken gear, a broken piston inside my engine? Why? I'm going to break the whole fucking engine. That's the corruption and the disease of evil. It's just going to cause more damage. Put a working piston in there. When you have a mission, when you have a goal, when you have a purpose and you have meaning, you have a reason why, to fuck with anything that's fucked up, that's not going to get you there, is stupid. Momentum, pivoting to consistently not let the world get you down. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to tell people to leave. Would you just leave yourself? Sometimes you have to not be a fucking coward and run from everything as well. Sometimes you have to not be triggered or affected by things and in fact, be so powerful that that negative shit is inspired to be greatness. Learning the ability to apply your wisdom in situations. Kind of important, isn't it? It's rhetorical. Of course it fucking is. So, completely forgot what the narrative this was. Just letting it flow today, I guess. Having a chat. And that's one thing I love, and I purposely do when I speak most of the time. Sometimes I speak at you because you bloody need it. Most of the time I talk to you, same with my book, it's casual. I wanted it to be a way that your friend would talk to you. You know what I mean? And what I meant by people loving you, I remember now. People that love you don't tolerate your shit. Don't tolerate your evil. Doesn't tolerate your unhealthiness. Like this crap of, oh, you should love me the way that I am. I'm going to facilitate self-harm? Really? Really? You want me to be that worthless and sell out my fucking morals? And sell out my integrity and my honor to allow you, not even allow you to participate in you self-harming? Are you fucking psycho? Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. Because you have to be fucking psycho. You have to be mentally ill. Yes, definition of insanity. to behave in this way and to be so fucked up in the head that you believe that you can fucked up make other people cause suffering to them if they don't kneel to your distorted, sick, perverted ways, which is just an excuse so that you can stay a worthless piece of shit. No, that doesn't work like that. No, the world doesn't mold around your delusion, because you are incapable of being healthy. You're incapable of being fucking nice. You're incapable of not being evil. You're incapable of not self-harming. So people that really love you, your friends, yeah, your family, yeah, and you to them to you, your partner, slap you across the back of the fucking head when you're being a fucking idiot. Because they love you. Only people who love you have the balls to tell you that you're a fucking idiot. Have the balls to get up you, to rev you, to slap you across the head, to tell you the brutal truth and drive it home with such ferocity that it shatters the little ego comfort zone shell. And if you ever attack anybody that does this and react at them, how dare you? You are grateful for them. You fucking praise them. You owe them for the rest of your life. You're indebted to them. You owe them your life. To have so much love to give that they will go to your pathetic hell and give you the seed of fucking life. Enjoy your bullshit. That's why if you are in a relationship, if you're a mother, if you're a father, husband, or wife, the fuck you are, a child, and no one is adjusting you, no one's helping you to be improved. If people are enabling you to be a fucking piece of shit, they don't love you. They don't give a fuck about you at all. They give zero fucks. You have to understand, you are so worthless to them. They are serious that you're nothing to them. Because you're nothing to yourself. Because when people really love people, they are the consciousness for you. Just like being a life coach and doing accountability coaching and stuff like this. You are the consciousness of them. You are the karma of their evil deeds. I have struggled with this myself. So, and I have what could be a altering position upon others in this enlightened field, or an event's life or godly. I have an altering opinion because the others have this perspective of enabling a behavior that is harmful. Now I tell you this, me personally, I have many to thank. Many brutal moments of awakening from others, where my behavior, my point of view, my perspective, my beliefs were altered forever. It's called tough love. And I can recall moments that, yeah, my little bitch ego was offended. And I could recognize that I was offended. But I also recognized that I needed that. So I guess that's where I can alter, or that I stand alone against the others, saying sometimes Sometimes you need the ass kicking. Sometimes you need to get your ass beaten. You need to sometimes beg for your fucking life. To make you wake the fuck up out of your delusion. Now let's look at it and explain this to you. You're a fucking loser. You're a bully. You're abusive. You're argumentative. You provocate violence. You think you're top shit. Right? You think you're all that gangster wannabe. Then you get in the ring with a fucking warrior. You get into the special forces. You get into fucking people that fight for their lives. You get into real tough cunts. And you're going to be humbled. Your ego is going to die. Or you. Either. When you step into a world of just love, they're going to break you. You're going to give everything you got, and then you're going to beg for your fucking life. You're going to quit. You're going to say, no, nothing, and you're going to run your mouth. That same mouth that you ran and abuse and bullying and picking and trying to propagate a fight, and then you're going to get knocked the fuck out. That person is going to treat you like bait. They're going to play with you. They're going to make you beg for your fucking life. You're going to have a face-to-face with reality. A wake-up call. You're going to evolve the fuck up real quick. Imagine that. Have you been there? And if you're one of those warriors on both sides that have the balls to sacrifice their fucking evil ego on the cross, sacrifice it and face that evil shit and get it purged. Get a trainer. Just beat the shit out of you. Make that little quitting bitch die. And what was born, what was left, is nothing but power. Anger is weakness. Evil is weakness. So I stand divided against my brothers. Because this, I can personally testify, is purity. To love someone so much that you are going to fight their fight for them. With them, not for them. That you're going to stand with them. While they try and hurt you, you love them. You make them evolve. You make them see the errors of their ways. Because a bully stops bullying when it gets knocked the fuck out. When you're no longer affected, when you can transcend fucking pain, doesn't even faze you anymore. That's power. That's dangerous. That's dangerous because you are so powerful that evil can't do shit. And when you can harness that brutality and guide it and direct it into greatness, into love, into serving the highest power, you don't have to be a greatest warrior. You don't have to be proficient and efficient at a weapon, hand to hand, anything. The most powerful thing is within you. And that is without fear. The two things that aren't real is pain and fear, and they both go hand in hand. And the sources are evil. Yes, it's a receptor in your brain, but don't you have control over that? Well, you should. So I want to bring it real simple to tie these last couple of weekends up. Call you a junkie. Because you are. Dopamine junkie. So I'm going to use a scientific terminology so that you can understand the divinity of it. Evil. Okay? A dopamine junkie is massively exacerbated in today's culture with technology and special stupid phones and social media and entertainment. It used to be your life sucked, you had a shit job, you need a fucking holiday. You remember that? Now, your life sucks, you suck, you need entertainment. This is self-medication to deal with reality that you've created. That's shit. So dopamine is having a shitty fast food, junk food, alcohol, drugs. It's like, whatever it is. And you actually within feeling shit because you've put these chemicals and poison in your body, yeah? Your chemical cocktail's fucked. Like sugar and crap. But this is the duality of evil. But your dopamine skyrockets and you feel good. Even though that you have regret, it's bad for you. You feel good. You regret it until you forget about it and go into a hypnosis of evil and continue to be pathetic and have no abilities to hold yourself accountable or remember the evil shit you do to yourself or others, let alone stopping it or apologizing or healing. So your dopamine addiction, it makes you a slave junkie that you sell yourself for. And that because you're so worthless, you have nothing of value. So you sell your body. Now this dopamine addiction is the reason why you're a junkie. The reason why you're pathetic. The reason why you're a coward, a quitter, and useless. Why you're a slave. Why you can't do what you want to do when you want to do it. What a fucking piece of shit are you that you can't go and do that which you want to do when you want to do it? You can't be healthy when you want to be healthy. You can't go off and do great things and look at the trees and climb a tree or look at the birds. Or go for a swim. Go kayaking. You can't do that. What about the other duality of slavery to evil? You can't not do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. Mean that you can't not shove that poison in your fucking face. Or you can't not be an evil cunt, abuse and attack people. Fucking pathetic. Dopamine junkie. Now it's only a duality part, but it's my way to explain to you the same duality of evil. You're a slave to it. And it dictates your reality. You have a coffee, you feel fucking great, but it's not, it's dopamine. Yes, it's a chemical cocktail happening inside of you, but you're addicted to that. It makes you dopamine. You flick every single time you flick your fucking phone, dopamine. Every single time you need to check your phone, you feel better because you have junkie to dopamine. Needing to play that loser video game, dopamine. Even now, what the fuck are you cunts doing with making a metaverse for losers? The worst. You're going to be... Humanity has de-evolved to having the attention span of a goldfish now. Scientifically, 4 seconds. Down from 10. you going to accomplish? See, you're useless. You have no ability to have an attention span. What can you do in 4 seconds? Nothing. How are you going to have consistency? You can't. Evil wins. You're useless. You're a slave to it. You can only consistently do evil shit. Say evil shit. Because good stuff is too hard for you. So you want to create a metaverse to make yourself a worthless, useless piece of shit even more? Where's your free will? Where's your self-love, self-respect? So if you've dropped down because of the creation of technology and TV, dopamine, radio, that's a bit sad, I reckon, but it's true. Music, dopamine. Video games, dopamine. Sex, dopamine. Drugs, dopamine. Cigarettes, dopamine. Your whole life, you're a puppet, a gimp slave. So, we want to be healthy, mind, body, and soul. Dopamine detox. And don't go back. So that you actually feel the actual way that you're supposed to feel about the actual things that matter and valuable in life. And then you now have the reward system inside yourself to feel dopamine, the pleasure hormone, the reward hormone of doing the things that are good, that are useful, that are beneficial, that are healthy, that enables you to overcome your addiction to slavery. You want to not smoke? Dopamine detox, you fuckhead. So that now you start to realize that you're not strung out. You want to stop being a pathetic fat piece of shit? Yeah, I don't hate you. I fucking love you. I love you so much that I'm going to call you exactly the thing that you are. If you're going to get offended, you need to get offended. I say this out of love. If you want to change the word that what you are from a fat piece of shit to a fucking legend, you earn it. You can't be a fucking legend and not be one. You can't participation trophy your way into this. Loving yourself will take you loving yourself. And I will not tolerate you fucking yourself up and then being so twisted in the brain that you're going to alter other people's reality that they see upon you to make you feel better, so that you stay a slave and keep self-harming. No. That's going to, not going to happen. Never. You don't like it? Number one, I don't care. It's not my job to give a fuck about you and your crazy shit. My job to love you and wake you the fuck up. Waking up is only going to happen by getting woken up and breaking you out of this delusional state of grandeur that you need to fucking edit everyone else so that you can stay in this fucked up reality, so that your fragile little ego doesn't get rocked. Come on, guy. Anyway, I think we've reached an hour mark of this podcast, sermon, teaching, prophecy. I don't fucking know. But in the end, we're all gonna die. But you will have to pay for the shit that you've done. And all the shit that you should have done. Your regret will lead you a life. Your karma Ooh. Karma's only a bitch if you're a bitch. And again, life experience. I've died. I know what's on the other side. There's no fucking degree. Nah. There's no university for that shit, brother and sisters. And that's where I stand, again, apart from my others. Because people need to understand, you need to understand the importance. And the best way that I can show you that I can translate the fucking need, the absolute now need, no more waiting, to wake the fuck up, is intensity. The intensity that I have to save you from the pain that you're going to go through, because I went through it. And a lot of people will never ever get a second chance like I did. I'm on my 10th, 100th. Don't throw it away. Don't waste it. Don't regret. Don't regret. Love yourself now. Having a life, whatever externally is happening or not happening, having a life, living a fucking life where you love yourself and that you forgive yourself and that you heal and that you stop being the spreader of evil and instead spreader of light and love. And you're finally happy. You finally believe in yourself. You finally let that evil shit go, that you are good enough. Do that now and forevermore, because you do not know how finite life is and how so very quickly it can go from life to lights out. These are reasons why I'm brutal sometimes. Because I'm not lazy. Intensity. Progressive overload. Applying intensity and effort upon each thing you do and increasing upon it each day. With each situation, with each thing, you build momentum, you apply progressive overload to get better, you throw harder. So, I love you. My request for you is for you to love yourself. And each day, just a little bit, apply progressive overload, which means just doing more, just doing better, showing up, even if you just show the fuck up each day. One breath, 1 second at a time. And the program will be out. The accountability app will be out. Yeah, technology. You want to know a funny thing about technology? I studied interactional digital media. Apps and games and graphic designer and shit. And from studying that shit, I learned I don't like that shit. Technology can suck a fucking dick. It's the worst. No skill. Nothing. Interesting, isn't it? It's like trying to be perfect. You lose who you are. Oh yeah, you'd be healthy, you'd be positive, you self-improve, you go along your progression. But you're never perfect. Never. And that's what I mean by art, about creation, about reality, about life. Everyone lives inside a fucking altered reality because they are shit cunts. And they don't live in reality, which is imperfect. Everyone cries and complains, oh God, why did you do this? Or why didn't you save them? Or why did this happen? It's like, nothing's perfect except God, the creation of existence. Because if you look at how it improves itself. So let's use the universe just before I finish. The universe is infinite and multiple dimensions. It is so infinite that it never ends. Okay. You're on a spinning rock in space. And every fucking angle up goes forever. You're way, as Joe Rogan, you're way too cocky. It goes forever. Now get this. Infiniteness, infinity, is expanding consistently. Infinite existence and creation is expanding. How the fuck does infinity, which never ends, there is no end, is getting bigger? Evolution. I'll leave you with that. So the next time you think about your primitive little world, your little life, remember that everything around you, the infinite of creation, is getting bigger. Evolve. Love you. Get shit done.